hypocritical Bernstein. You can call if you're listening, or them assistant state's attorneys down there can call. But I promise you, won't be no smooth ride. Won't get no lox and bagel you call up in here. Won't get no gefilte fish you call up in here. And I don't know why you just don't come on out the closet anyway. I don't know why you just don't come on out the closet. It's what he need to do, along with some of them other ones down there. But let me keep it moving. Again, man, as we look at, again, who's the head? On the state special prosecutor. Where's that state special prosecutor? Gavitz or Davitz? Where's that one that went after John Leopold? The one that went after Delegate Tiffany Austin? Where is he? Why is he so silent? And, of course, Rod Rosenstein. And Rod Rosenstein, who wants to move up and become a judge in the Fourth Circuit. So he has to rely on Ben Cardin, whose nephew, John Cardin, wants to run for Attorney General also. And then he has to rely on the support of Barbara Mikulski. So this is why they want to relegate the investigation and the indictments to the lower level rank and file members in the jails as opposed to going up the food chain, man. That perhaps they won't get their political position. So you got to look at this because all of them are jockeying right now. I know the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. I know the Preakness or the Freakness is in a few weeks, man. But all of them are jockeying for positions right now. And, of course, the vultures or the buzzards, the hyenas are circling around Martin O'Malley. They may smell blood. You remember the movie, The Chronicles of Riddick? They said when the beast was wounded, kill the beast. Kill the beast. And so they may be willing to move in on the feast on this beast in terms of your governor. In terms of your governor right now, who thought that he was going to be at his highest point. But it's interesting how things change in just a few weeks. And well, I'm coming to the line in just a moment. So now, in this crisis, there's a very small window, as they say, for opportunity, for real leadership to step up. But again, as I said before, you got Brown, Heather Mazur, let me just throw her name out there, who wants to run also for governor. You got Brian Frosh. Senator Brian Frosh, who don't know nothing about black folk, a suburbanite and don't know nothing about the urbanites and don't know nothing about how to make the urban cities right. But he'll be willing to have that hearing in the Senate if they don't allow the hearings to go forth in the House of Delegates, because Brian Frosh wants to be the Attorney General also. But I may one day do just an expose on Brian Frosh and his family. But let me keep going here as we look at this, man, because it demands real leadership rise to the surface right now, man, is what we have to be willing to see. But we also see that the die is set. The die is set on your governor right now. Again, as I said before, I'm not going to get back into your dumb mayor, the party girl who wants to be a valley girl that never stood up for anything except maybe a sidewalk sale, running around like a single black female addicted to retail. When we got over 80 murders in the city right now, she gonna ask the governor about questions about what's happening in central booking. Questions about what's happening in central booking when we got over 80 murders in this damn city right now, man. But they covering that up. But as we keep going, man, again, as I said, we have to ask her maybe, because everything that they probably try to say that them young ladies was doing in terms of them young women that was guards. Your Madam Mayor, when she was on the city council, I had a conversation with her husband if she wanted to press me about it. Along with Sheila Dixon, along with other women that was in City Hall, along with Sade Bedenoir, we'll say alleged, along with Katie Lahan and some of them other women that was working in the media. They were going on them same trips. At least the women in Central Brooklyn was doing it where they work. Your man and others were going up to hotels up in New York, man. Bar hopping, hotel stopping, and I don't know what was dropping or propping up there. At least those women were doing it where they work. Not that that makes it right. It was wrong. Let me make that clear for some of you. Say, Brother Muhammad, are you encouraging that? No. Maybe you are. But don't try to diss those young ladies who you say may be of a certain economic status, socioeconomic status. When you had those down there in City Hall, as we found out with your former mayor, that she was tricking. That Sheila wasn't Sheila Dixon. She was Sheila tricking down there in City Hall. But her partner in crime was Stephanie Rollins, along with some others down there in City Hall and women in the news media as well, if I can keep it real. But I know you don't want me to keep it real. You want me to keep it surreal. But your man was down there acting like a 5-star chick, as she still does, as my daughter shared with me. She was over there at Four Seasons Hotel last week with a dress on shorter than that little character in the movie Mini-Me. Running around prancing like that horse, I'll have another, like she at the Preakness, trying to get some attention, man. But you can't put lipstick on the pig. While at the same time, you got all this crime going on in the city. While at the same time, you got all this death and murder and mayhem going in the city, man. But she don't want to address that. She going to tell you she going to call the governor and ask the governor about what's going on in central booking, man. So it lets you see. The more you think these things have changed, the more you see they remain the same in this city and in this state right now. But let me keep going before I go to this news clip, and then I'm going to open up the lines. Take your thoughts, questions, and comments, man. But your governor, the boogeyman, is in trouble right now. The boogeyman is in trouble right now. He's the boogeyman to some of you. But again, as we look at this, as I've said before, that the plot thickens and this deepening criminal enterprise, that there should be more questions, there should be more inquiries, there should be more indictments, there should be more arrests, there should be more in terms of what we've seen from the deaths, from the hearings and the jeering, and less cheering now for your governor is what you will hear. And again, he want this story. He want this story to go away, but it's not going away. It's not going away. And the Sun paper will be in no position to help him. The Washington Post won't be in no position to help him. That all the king's horsemen and all the king's men may not be able to put this Teflon leprechaun back together again. Again, that depends on what you do as the general public. Because as I said, your loved ones can go in that institution, and the way these institutions have been allowed to exist and persist for so many years, that their penalty could ultimately be the death penalty by the state or an inmate of the state, because they don't want you to clean house and they don't want you to ask no questions regarding what's been really going on. So again, I thank the Legislative Black Caucus under the leadership of Delegate Aisha Braveboy, but I'm asking, where are the civil rights organizations? Where are the criminal justice organizations? Where are those around this issue of mass incarceration and not allowing them, as I said before, to sweep this under the rug, or not allow them to scapegoat the rank and file men and women that are, again, on the lower realm of the chain or the food chain, and to try to make you, again, titillate your lower chakras and make you think that all this is about is black women and black men not having control over their sexual appetite, and then getting some Grey Goose, getting some marijuana, getting some cigars brought into the institutions, man. Don't let them minimize their actions and maximize the actions of, again, the rank and file workers there inside of the institutions, man, is what we have to do. So this is why, again, our organizations that go in and out of the institutions, that go in and out of these prisons, that go in and out of the halfway houses, should join and unite together and make sure that we inject ourselves into the conversations, into the hearings, to be a voice for the voiceless, a choice for the choiceless, man. As I said before, from the Muslims to the Moors to the Hebrews to the Hebrew Israelites, the Christian church organization, to men, women, and youth organization, and many others, man. And how many more lives should be or could be lost or destroyed in jails, again, as I said before, because you commit maybe a minor infraction, a minor law, and then death becomes your ultimate, again, price that you have to pay, because you have a governor, you have a lieutenant governor, and you have the Secretary of Public Safety, Gary Maynard, showing that they care more about protecting the primates in the zoo than protecting the inmates that are in their custody as well. But let me go to this clip talking about the meeting that was held, I believe, over the last couple of days in Annapolis. And then we're going to open up the lines. Take your thoughts, questions, and comments at 410-761-1592. Pardon me. But let me go to this clip, courtesy, I believe, of WBFF Fox 45 television, talking about the meetings that took place. Committee hold closed-door meetings, but clearly this is because your governor, and he wants this story to go away, and it's not going away. But again, I got to lay out those that may be seeking to use this as an opportunity, not to show real leadership, but again, to use it to project themselves forward because they want to run for a higher office or run for an office. And your governor clearly is bleeding while leading, and he's not showing much leadership right now. But let me go to this clip, then we'll open up the lines. Take your thoughts, questions, comments. So listen to this message. We'll be right back with more of the State of the City.
issue is the people that were supposed to be watching, protecting, and securing at the higher levels.
Word today of a private meeting between the state's top correction official and members of a key committee from the Public Safety Service.
From Maynard, we met with him yesterday, and members of the Judiciary Committee met with him and got a briefing.
House Judiciary Committee Chair Joseph Valerio says he and several select members had a meeting with Public Safety Secretary Maynard, an unscheduled get-together, so they could be briefed on developments in this jail investigation. But members of the committee who were excluded from the briefing are outraged.
And I should have been made aware of that.
State Delegate Michael Schmiegel says Maynard should face the public and answer questions about serious lapses inside state jails that have made nationwide news.
Well, that's absolutely unacceptable. The press should be there. The public should be there.
And when John Rydell pressed Delegate Valerio about why his committee convened privately just days before a public hearing, the chairperson would not concede the meeting was indeed closed door.
Was that a private meeting?
No, it wasn't private at all. It wasn't open to the public.
As to next week's hearing, Valerio was non-committal.
It's still scheduled. What does that mean?
It means it's still scheduled.
It may be canceled?
We don't know that.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Of course, you heard that clip talking about the meeting and, of course, what will happen. But as I said before, your governor, your lieutenant governor, your state's attorney, your public safety secretary, Gary Maynard, and others, and your attorney general, Doug Gansler, are the newest first responders. The newest first responders trying to put out these fires, man. Trying to put out these fires, man. But the fire is spreading, and where there's smoke, there's fire. But let me come to the line. Take your thoughts, questions, comments, and as I said before, please do not call up in here. Just trying to focus on the sex, trying to focus on who was giving up the booty while they were on duty, trying to focus on some of the women that you just want to reduce to the desperate housewives of central booking. But we're going up the food chain. We're going up the ladder as we fighting these fires and exposing these fires, man. Get in on the conversation, 410-761-1592. Of course, this is a good topic for first-time callers. For first-time callers, man, for some of you that normally call, you might want to hold today. Let some of these other callers get in on the conversation. 410-761-1592. And again, don't forget the hearing is next Wednesday, the 8th at 1 o'clock, and we'll give you again the time, the location. But you want to make sure you get there early, man. But all of this has to come to the surface because it's a matter of life and not breath, but life and death for your loved ones. You might have had loved ones that's been in institutions that they told you died of natural causes. You may find out that may have been the opposite from what they've told you over the past 4, 5 to 6 years. So all of this has to be brought out, man. And for some of you say we against the governor, yeah, you damn right. You damn right. I am against the governor for all of his crimes against me and my people. If members of the Jewish community would be against those that are their tormentors, then I'm going to be against those that's been my tormentors and fomentors as well. If you ain't got sense enough to do it, if you ain't got the testicular fortitude to do it, then God put it in some of us to do it today. You try that crap with some other weak-ass radio show. But don't call up in here telling me we got something against the governor. What he got against you locking you and your children up, locking you and your women up, and then creating the environment, the lax environment, allowing them to be killed inside the institutions. They might be in there for a traffic ticket. They might be in there because of child support. They might be in there for something in terms of a penalty and end up losing their life. And you ain't got sense enough to press him and stress him because you worrying about whether he gonna be the president. Then you get some dumb talking about he gonna run something back to you. If your ass ain't getting nothing when he was the mayor, if you ain't got nothing since he been the governor, what the hell make you think you gonna get something when he become the president? You haven't got nothing from that black man sitting down there right now at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So shut the hell up, man. Just shut up. Because you ain't got that kind of heart. Dad, let me come to the line, 410-761-1592. Afternoon caller, you on the state of the city. Pardon my language.
Oh, yes, Brother Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
My concern about this whole prison debacle is that they will try to, confine this, again, like you said, to the lower level employees. Again, I'm a retired correctional officer.
So you know?
And if you, and one word has been missing, I don't hear anybody mentioning breach of security. That is the theme.
Breach of security, that's right. And negative retention of officers and others that should have been disciplined a long time ago for their actions. And many of them have just gotten promoted, brother.
And again, speaking of breaches of security, I would be interested to see the chief of security what does his reports reflect about a breach of security?
Yes, sir. All right, let me get some more of these calls, brother. Thank you very much, man. All
Thank
right?
you.
Yeah, this is worse than, what's that TV show, Scandal? This is worse than Scandal, man. This is worse than Scandal for some of you. This is worse than Scandal.